Welcome to Flicks and Giggles.
Today.
My name is Izzy today. Today I'm Izzy. And today she's Amia. And also today we're going to be talking about theater camp. Brought to you by Ben Platt.
Ooh.
Ooh, Ben Platt, sponsor our podcast. We know you have that Nepo baby money. We're giving you a review of theater camp from the perspective of two theater kids.
Who are still recovering.
Recovering theater kids. Okay. What's your rating?
I give it an 8.
I think I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a nice
Solid
right
8.
down the middle 8, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had no expectation going into this film. I was like, just here for a good time, some theater camp. I didn't really know much about it or the reviews, the reception before going in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked it. Like, I thought it was funny. It was very unserious, but like
Very unserious.
doing it well. And my favorite part is it didn't feel forced, like the humor. Like, it was cringe a little bit, like we've talked about it, but it wasn't like some writer trying to be a teenager and it like the language doesn't match. It was like you could tell that it was like theater kids writing about theater experience for theater kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of movies you can tell when something is written by adults trying to like imitate kids' humor, and it just does not land well because you're just so not in the headspace of like. But as someone who was in theater school a year ago, it was pretty dang spot on. Like you can tell these people have been like in and around, like especially I think the New York theater scene, because it was there. There was only 2 moments that I was like, we talked about this, like, there was one joke where they kind of have that trope where, I don't know if this is considered a spoiler, not really.
No.
Not really. They have, like, the trope where, like, the straight kid has 2 gay dads, and then he, like, comes out to his gay dads, and they have this big reaction, like, oh, honey, we always knew.
Yeah,
like,
but he's like, I'm a heterosexual.
I was like, that joke to me, I think, was a little played out. I was like, I could have done without that, but
Yeah.
I think that was the only one that kind of was like meh for me. Everything else, I was genuinely actually like laughing out loud at certain points of this because I was just like, I've heard probably 7 people say all of these jokes. Like, it's real.
Yeah.
It's these are things that people actually say in theater school. As much as you like, or like theater camp or whatever, as much as you're like, wow, that's so cringy, it's real. It's unfortunate, but it's real.
The whole movie, it was done in a mockumentary style as well, so there was like so much chaos to it, which I feel like is also a very accurate representation of what theater school and being in like theater environment is. It's just chaos.
Yeah, it's not going to be a clean like recording of...
No. And
yeah.
I loved it. I feel like it was just like such like a feel-good movie. Like, I wouldn't say it's like the funniest movie I've seen, but I feel like if you have been anywhere near the theater scene and you did theater growing up, like you'll get it. And it feels like it's like a little love letter to it.
It is, yeah. Oh, we didn't do a synopsis. Should we do a little synopsis?
Yeah.
Okay. We are in upstate New York, at a theater camp kind of in the woods. It's your classic, imagine a summer camp for kids. It's that. And we are following Molly Gordon and Ben Platt at the beginning, who are teachers at this theater camp. And it's owned by, I'm going to say her name wrong, Amy Sedaris. She's playing a lady named Joan. She unfortunately falls into a coma.
Because of a strobe light.
Because of a strobe light incident. Yes. Yeah, in Bye Bye Birdie. She falls into a coma. And the theater camp is left under the control of her like very bro-y, like frat boy son who thinks he's an entrepreneur but is actually just like an absolute loser. Like,
and it's just, and then the whole thing is done in a mockumentary style where we follow these people that are trying to keep the camp from falling apart.
Yeah, and there is a larger company that owns a camp down the street who is trying to buy them out.
Gentrification.
As they are trying to keep this like little camp alive.
Yeah.
It's very cute.
Very cute.
I loved Troy's character. I think his real name is like Jimmy something. I can't remember his last name.
I just feel like he should keep doing the Broman dude characters.
It was so good.
It was so funny. Every single line that he said made me laugh. And when he was like, it's entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship. Oh my god.
My favorite was the conversation he had with Glenn when he was like, what's a straight play? And it's like, well, there's plays that are just straight plays, and then there's musicals. Then what's a gay play? A
musical, I guess.
I loved it because I feel like I've had that conversation in like high school.
Yeah. No, you know why? Because all the time I feel like when you were a theater kid in high school and the musical would come around and people all the time would be like, oh, the school play. And I was like, it's not a play. Stop calling it the school play because we're not doing a play. We're doing Newsies. Okay? Like, it's not
a play.
A play.
It's a musical.
And they're like, oh, what's the difference? All the time.
All the time.
It sounds so stupid, but I was like so sick of I would get so heated when someone would be like, the school play. I was, no, it's not a play. Do you want to read your reviews?
Oh my god, yeah. I don't even know if I saved that many, to be honest. Whole players. I think I took one screenshot. And this is someone named Broadway For Me left a review on Letterboxd, and they said, this movie was so good that I now forgive Ben Platt for the Dear Evan Hansen movie.
I didn't even watch it. I did not even watch Dear Evan Hansen.
I couldn't. I really couldn't. Like, I saw the trailer and I was like, nope.
Yeah. I saw it on Broadway, not with Ben Platt, and that was...
I've actually never seen Dear Evan Hansen, period. Ever.
A lot of people rag on it because it's like glorifying like bad behavior, quote unquote. You can't see, but I'm doing like finger quotes. But it's like, I don't know why people focused in on that so heavily because it's just like, okay, whatever. It's telling, that's the story they're telling. I don't think it's like, it's not like we're sitting here watching a show about like Jeffrey Dahmer and people are like, oh my God, what a stand-up guy. It's like somebody who made some stupid mistakes and like, yeah, lied to some people. But like, I was like, I don't know why people are focusing in on that so heavily because when I actually saw the show, it's not my favorite show by any means, but the songs like require a lot of vocal power. The singing, I mean, the cast that I saw was so talented. Like the singing really is the thing that like wins you over in that show.
I think for me was I just knew it involved like lying and then like a big public reveal, like, and I just couldn't handle the secondhand embarrassment.
It's heavy. It's heavy.
It's a lot, and it's like a public like humiliation.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I can't. I don't.
It is one of those shows where you like feel the stress for them, and sometimes I really can't handle that. Yeah. So I understand
and
that.
And that's the only reason why. Like I think I've listened to the whole album all the way through once, and I know some of the songs. Like I don't even know the characters, but the one where she's like, "Why should I play the?"
Oh, a Requiem.
Requiem.
Yeah,
I love that song. I will bump to it every time. I won't skip it. It's a non-skip song for me. But I just like, I don't know, because of I know what's in it. I've never seen it because I'm like, I don't want to witness it. I don't want to witness your humiliation because I get the second hand.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
I feel it a lot.
The good thing about theater camp, though, is that segue is that it is not a stress movie at all. It is a very feel-good movie.
Yeah, it's so chaotic, but in a very, like, grounded way, in a very realistic way of what it is just to be in a show that does not have their shit together.
Yeah. It's the kind of movie where if you just want to, like, sit back and laugh and watch something and not have to really turn on your brain or like you not feel any stress at all, not like, ride the waves of a typical movie. It's one of those movies for sure.
Yeah. And it also feels like a passion project. Like, I think I've already said this, but it really is like written by theater kids for theater kids, and you could really tell. And it's just like overall it's unserious and just very like heartfelt. And
it's definitely like theater kids making fun of themselves, and I think they did it well, because if they went in and they weren't making fun of themselves, nobody else would enjoy it.
Yeah, it's self-aware.
It is very self-aware and is very self-deprecating.
Yeah. And oh my god, Ayo Edebiri is in it. I love her in everything. Ayo Edebiri for world domination. Anyways, she has like 4 minutes of screen time, but she killed it for every second that she was on screen.
Her character is someone who was looking for a job and lied on her resume and says that she like knows all this about theater and stage combat and all this stuff, and she shows up, she knows absolutely nothing. And one of my favorite moments with her was she's sitting in front of this class of like very young theater kids, and she goes, "What is stage combat?" And the kids are giving these poetic answers like, "It is the feeling the wind underneath your feet as it takes you on the blah blah blah, whatever,
pushing you past your boundaries." And she's like, "Okay, but legally,
what is stage combat?"
And the kid just goes, "It's teaching us how to fight." And she goes, "Oh,
okay."
My other favorite one was when she's doing mask work.
So funny.
Like, I feel like in a lot of improv classes there will be the whole like mask work, and it's just like, like it's your body and it's like doing all this expression with your body, and she's calling all these things out and it's like making it up, but she's quite literally making this lesson up because she has no experience.
It's so perfect because if you've ever taken an improv class or like a voice production class or like anything that requires a little bit of like strange happenings, you'll have moments like I remember in school we used to do this thing every week where you would like, for all the non-theater people out here, what I'm about to describe is not going to make any sense. It doesn't even make sense to me. I still don't know what we were doing. We would like get on the floor and get into very specific like positions with our body and do certain breathing breath work that, and people would literally be making like the strangest noises would be coming out of people, and our teachers would be like, this is good, and I'd be sitting there and I'd be like, I'm not feeling the urge to make like dinosaur noises right now, like I just don't understand what is supposed to be coming out of me.
Where is it coming from? I'm not connected to it.
Literally, what is happening? And it's sometimes you're sitting there and you're like, they could be making this up right now. Feels fake. You have a degree in this? I don't believe it. Like, and her coming in and just being like, mask work, rah, and it's like, it feels, that was honestly one of my favorite jokes, because I was like, they really got it spot on, that we all kind of feel maybe like our instructors are just making it up.
Just a little cuckoo. I love it. And I just, she was so fun in this movie, even though she had such a small part. Yeah.
I really loved Molly Gordon's character. First of all, wardrobe, perfect.
I was just gonna say, I need her entire wardrobe. Like, I loved it.
Yeah.
Every time. I feel like if I went to that camp, I would worship her. Like, I would, like, embody her and be like, I am Rebecca Diane.
Yeah. We didn't get a lot of, like, depth with any of the characters, but I like to imagine that her character was very like spiritual, like woo-woo. I like to imagine that she was very aware that everything she was doing was not like real.
Yeah, because the way she would channel Joan, and Joan is not dead, she's just in a coma. That also the past life regression that she did with children,
hilarious,
like 10-year-olds. It was so funny because she looked at this one little girl who was like tiny, baby. 7, and she's like, "You're the oldest soul in this room, and you've reincarnated a lot, but this is your last life."
And the kid's just like. They had the thing I loved about this movie is they had so many little moments like that where they were kind of complex jokes, but that happened in a split second that you think about after and you're like, huh, that was good.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like one of my favorite like quick jokes that happened in the movie was when they're doing auditions and the costume designer just goes, "You're allergic to polyester? Why?" I saw some people said that her character was like unlikable in the show, like Rebecca Diane. And I don't understand why. Because I get it. At first she was like flaking. Okay, so the whole thing was she was like working on this finale and all of it, but she throughout the show was actually auditioning and getting a job to actually become a performer. And I liked the whole thing of like these two best friends who are very codependent and who like does everything together, have been making art together forever. But then one of them, and they have this dream of being a performer, but one of them
is actually doing it.
Yeah, one of them actually wants to do it, is actually doing it, and the other one wants to do it, but like doesn't for whatever reason. And I really liked that relationship.
Their friendship was well done. And I did see a review, I think it was on Letterboxd, that said you could tell that these actors were friends in real life. And I think that was very evident between Rebecca Diane and Amos.
Yeah.
And I had no issues with her character.
Me either.
I loved her character. I thought she did it really well.
I think so too.
She really had to like commit to the bit, and she did. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I was like, the only way I could think of is like the way she was like flaking on classes to like go get her job. But I was like, I get it. I'm sorry. But because at the end she pulled through.
Yeah, kind of.
She wrote a really good finale. Okay. Yeah, I don't really have bad things to say about this movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. I think like top things that really made it for me were, I think the jokes could have gone either way. I think they went well. There were only a couple for me that I was like, I didn't really like, but the good outweighed the bad. I think I really loved the mockumentary style because it helped with the self-awareness and the making fun of themselves. I think it kind of pushed it in the right direction. If we were recording on like a classic kind of outside looking in perspective, I think it wouldn't have felt like we were making fun of ourselves as much as we were. I think the mockumentary did that really well.
Yes.
But it didn't overstep into like having its own kind of plot line. We just understood at the beginning, okay, this is a like documentary, whatever, and we're going to run with it and we're just going to believe it until the end. Yeah. I think they did that well. And yeah, I think the pacing was good. I was like, every once in a while I'd have a good laugh, and then I would enjoy the time in between, and then have a good laugh, enjoy the time in between. Yeah. I never really felt like anything was slow for me at all.
And I also love the talent in the movie. Like, all the little kids were actually so talented. Like, you could tell they are, like, actually trained, like, theater kids. And, like, they also committed to the bit. Like, it wasn't just, like, Amos and Rebecca Diane, not just, like, the adults. It was the kids that were also just that made the movie what it is. Like, they're just so talented. And also, in the movie, they're putting on this made-up musical called Joan Still, and it's about the camp owner Joan, who's in a coma, and they're telling this like her life story pretty much. And that musical is actually good. Like, the songs were actually so fun, and I was like, I would watch this. Like, I'd enjoy it. I'd listen to this musical. I'd sing Joan Still.
There was a couple of moments where I literally turned to Kenny and I was like, why are these like 7-year-old children more talented than like some people that I went to theater college with? What is going on? Where do they find these children?
So good.
How do you make these children? Like, where are they coming from? What schools are they going to? Who are your parents? I just want to know.
What are you eating?
Literally.
What's in your water?
Right. I would just love to know.
Yeah.
I really don't. This is going to be the shortest episode on the face of the planet. I really don't have much else to say.
Me either. Okay. Steering away from the movie itself, because we're short, what are your top musicals?
Oh. This is a rough one for me because I'm like,
there's so many.
There's so many, and I could really split them into categories.
And you've seen most of them on Broadway. A lot of them.
Yeah. I would say, if I'm going...
Can I guess?
Yeah, let's say favorite shows that I have seen on Broadway. Because
Wicked.
It's up there. Are we doing like top... What are we doing? Top what? Because that changes things.
Shoot. Okay, let's do...
Because Wicked is that show that, like, if you have lived in New York City, Wicked is that show that, like, you've seen 17 times and it just really doesn't ever get old.
It's always good.
And it's always good, but maybe it's not in your top 3.
Okay, so let's do top 3.
Okay.
I haven't seen that many Broadway shows, to be honest. I just listen to the soundtrack.
Well,
I watch slime tutorials.
I know your top 1. It's Hadestown. I know that.
If you know me, you know that.
It's Hadestown.
Anyone that knows me knows that.
Your second and third? That's difficult. I don't know.
You know what I actually really like the music for? I don't know if this is in my top 3, but I really like Alice by Heart, which Molly Gordon is also the lead.
Oh my god, that's what I know her from!
Yes!
Oh!
She plays Alice in Alice by Heart!
I was wondering why her name was so familiar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She's so good.
I would have loved to see that, but there's really nowhere that you can, like, no one puts it on. There's really no videos of it. Like, it's very difficult to find. I mean, it was off Broadway. Like, it was never on.
I've seen a few, like, slime videos, slime tutorials of that show.
We're just, if you don't know what that means, we're actually just not going to explain it. You just have to live with the fact that we're talking about slime tutorials.
Yeah. And it would be, like, very fragmented. It would be, like, a song here, a song there, but then it would be, like, shot through, like, behind somebody's head, you know?
Yeah.
As most slime tutorials are.
As most are.
I really love Waitress. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if these would be, like, my top 3, but, like, they're probably the top 5.
Waitress isn't my top 3. Such a good show. I saw it with Sierra Renee and oh my god, Joshua Henry.
Oh,
yeah,
that's so good.
Winning cast. It was so good.
Rent. I remember grade 10, 11 was probably when you were obsessed with Rent.
I'm still a little obsessed with Rent. I don't know if it... The stage version, I know people are going to come after me for this if you're a theater person. The stage version, not my favorite. I love the movie, fair. But the stage version doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think maybe...
Probably one of the most iconic shows, but it doesn't do it for her.
No. It is literally one of my favorite shows and has been forever.
Yeah.
The issue I have with the stage version is I feel like it's such a show that feels like it needs to be actually in New York City, that because I've seen it as a movie in these, like, actual buildings, on the actual streets, on the actual fire escapes, that once you put it on a stage, I think it takes a little bit away from me. I don't know why, but I'm like, it's a show that needs to feel more realistic to me.
So far, I would have Hadestown and Waitress in my top 3.
Those are also in my top 3.
You know what?
These are my Broadway labels.
Oh my god, Cabaret! Cabaret is in my top 3.
I love Cabaret.
Cabaret is in my
Did you know
3.
that the West End version is coming to Broadway?
I know, I saw! Why? Heathers.
Love Heathers.
Yeah.
That actually might be up there for me. I love Heathers.
Heathers, I know.
Oh my god. Who am I?
You forgot.
I can't believe I have forgotten. Screw Heathers. This is probably Come From Away is definitely top 3. Okay, so
what's your top 3?
My Hadestown, Come From Away, and Waitress in no particular order.
Mine is probably Hadestown, Cabaret, and Waitress in that order.
Fair enough.
I feel like those 3 shows are shows where I want to be in. Like, those are dream roles.
I would love to be in Waitress. Such a sweet little story.
I love that it's, like, super sweet, but also has some songs that are, like, raunchy.
Yeah.
It's, like, Broadway version, and I think it's so fun.
And
I think the music is so good. Like, the harmonies in that musical, there's treat... What?
3-part harmonies?
3-part harmonies. And
something just happened in Amy's brain.
My brain just stopped.
I could talk about these musicals all day. Don't even get me started.
What would be top 5?
Oof. Out of these, I'm just going out of these because if we include things that I haven't seen on Broadway, it's just like way too much.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice is up there for me.
Okay.
I know some people have their thing with Beetlejuice, but I don't want to hear any of it. Okay, you're all wrong. It's a great musical. Probably Wicked. It's just, you can't go wrong, and I don't want to hear I don't want to hear anybody saying this is overdone. It's a fantastic show.
It's overdone for a reason. It's
exactly.
Classic.
It's just too good. Like, you really just can't beat it. I cry every time.
Yeah.
Every time she sings, every time Elphaba sings No Good Deed, it takes like a part of my soul. It takes a part of my soul and like lights it on fire. I just want to, it just really gets me going. No Good Deed. You know that thing that's like, are you whenever you go see Wicked on Broadway, it's like they're either a Defying Gravity, a No Good Deed, or a Wizard and I Elphaba. And
I think I'm a No Good Deed Elphaba.
Oh, I'm a No Good Deed person too. Yeah. But every time there is a show that has specifically like No Good Deed Elphaba, it's my favorite Elphaba. I'm truly just a simple girl.
Yeah. My top 5. Well, we've already named our I think In the Heights is up there. For me, I love the music so much. And then maybe like Beetlejuice.
It's a good one.
Yeah. I just think like one of my favorite songs from that show is like What I Know Now.
Yeah.
I think it's just such an iconic song.
Listen, I saw it when I saw it the first time. They had it as Leslie Kritzer was
singing
Miss Argentina, and then they changed it so that Miss Argentina was a different actor. And I understand why they did it, because getting her in the green makeup at intermission is rough, and then getting her out of it for the finale, I'm totally there. But the way that it changed that dynamic for me was actually insane. It was absolutely no shade to the actor that was playing Miss Argentina when I saw it. She was fantastic, but something about knowing that Leslie Kritzer goes from her original character, from Delia to Miss Argentina,
back to Delia,
made it so much better. I don't know why.
When I saw it, it was a different actor doing it. But I never saw it with Leslie to begin with, so I didn't really have any qualms.
Fair enough.
Because I still love the song. I was also very drunk for that show. Because I
made Amy go to Beetlejuice alone.
Yeah. And I told her I would pay for her ticket, and she said, I haven't seen Kenny all week. And by the way, they lived together. They had been for like 2 years at that point.
Hey, I don't know why this just became an Izzy hate session. But,
Because what theater kid turns down a free ticket to a show?
I was just like, to back myself up, that I was very tired. I had already seen Beetlejuice on Broadway twice. And
anyways, I forget what restaurant it was, but they had those really, really big drinks, and I had the peach fuzz one, but I got the big size, and it was...
Was it Applebee's?
No. No.
I love Applebee's. You know what show I saw absolutely blasted out of my mind? Moulin Rouge. But you have to see Moulin Rouge drunk, or else it won't be enjoyable.
I feel like jukebox musicals are hard to do well. And I think with Moulin Rouge, I just don't love the music. But I think the show, like, I haven't seen it, so I'm really talking out of my ass here. But, like, I've seen clips and I've seen the songs, and I think the show itself is, like, very visually stunning, and you know the story of Moulin Rouge, and I love it. But I just think the music really takes me out, because they're singing Firework by Katy Perry on Broadway.
Yes.
But in these, like, fabulous, like, costumes, and it's supposed to be, like, incredibly high stakes, but they're, like, fireworks, and I'm like...
My gripe with Moulin Rouge is that it markets itself to be like very for tourists who are coming to New York are probably going to watch one Broadway show because it is expensive. You know, you're going to spend all your money on good tickets to one show, and that's going to be your only experience in New York. And you're marketing it as this thing that people recognize with songs that people recognize with these big stars like Derek Klena, who is incredibly talented. And then people are going to go in and be like, this is the Broadway experience. And then you have, in my opinion, a story that is kind of lacking. The story is like, you know.
We know it.
We know it. It's not very like whatever. And then you have songs that are kind of lacking because they are pop songs. It's not to say that they're not good, but they're meant for something completely different. You know? And
it's not,
it's not like
but it's a very visually striking show. It's a pretty package.
Yeah, but it's just, there's truly not a lot of like substance within it. And I'm like, it makes me a little sad that to know that some people are going to go to New York
and that's
the one show they're going to see. Yeah. I'm like, I would wish if you were going to see a show that was kind of marketed towards like only tourists, that it would be Wicked. You know what I mean?
Because it's such a classic.
And
it's also...
There's substance, and it's the singing. I mean, you get these incredible performances. As much as Defying Gravity might be overdone to people like us, if it's your first time sitting down and seeing Defying Gravity on a stage, it is incredible. That's the kind of like performance I would wish on everybody who gets to see one Broadway show in their life to see something like that.
Wicked is just like, it overwhelms you with talent and emotion. Like, even if you are a theater kid who has seen it multiple times, you go in and every time you get that same.
Yeah. And something like Moulin Rouge overwhelms you with lights and costumes.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, some people love it. It's just not my cup of tea. I'm like, I
didn't go see it. Even though the cast, I was like, I want to see the cast. I was like, it's just not worth it for me. Like, it just really takes me out of it. The music. Yeah. Especially. Yeah. As
much as my heart is like, I wish people would go see stuff like Come From Away and Hadestown and whatever. I'm like, I get that some people who might not be into theater will like not really enjoy, especially like Come From Away, like very minimal set, actors playing multiple characters, stuff like that is like, maybe you have to be more into theater to enjoy that. I'm like, I think there's just so many bigger like better blowout shows that people could be seeing.
I think Hadestown is good for everybody. I think everyone should see it at least once in their life. I went to the Hadestown tour.
Yeah, I saw that. You didn't invite me.
Oh. I was being an independent girl. I was like, I'm going to take myself on a little date and go by myself. And
it's just payback for me not going to Beetlejuice with her. She wasn't going to invite me to Hadestown. Also, Moulin Rouge, please don't sue me. I know I have just ragged on you a lot. This is just my opinion. And I went to see your show. I just went a little bit drunk because...
You have to.
You have to.
The light's more fun.
Whoa, you guys got a whole setup. I didn't know about this. Wow.
Hey, everybody. This is Kenny. The elusive Kenny.
Hello.
And Looney.
And Looney. A special guest appearance. Tell the people your top 3 favorite musicals.
Oh, God, I don't know. Wicked. Amazing show. Very basic, but it's basic for a reason.
That's literally what we were talking about.
Well, I really like Dear Evan Hansen.
We have a Dear Evan Hansen stand. We also talked about that.
Yeah, it's right here. I see it. Dear Evan Hansen.
What do you like about Dear Evan Hansen? Tell the people.
Music. I don't know why, but the music just scratches a part of my brain.
Yeah.
The story's good too, but I mean, I don't know. But also basic, but for a reason. Third, I don't know. Let me look at these. Give me a second.
You guys are just the same person.
Oh, I do like Beetlejuice. Hamilton's good. Ooh, I'm panicking.
Beetlejuice was in my top 5.
Ooh, Come From Away was good. I might go with Beetlejuice because that one was just really fun. The other shows, they're fun, but Beetlejuice was just so funny girl for sure.
Stop. Oh, we felt the same way.
Yeah, I don't like funny girl at all. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Beetlejuice. At least out of what is here. I can't think off the top of my head.
That's why we did this, because we were struggling to think of things.
Beetlejuice, it's really good. It's a really fun show. No, yeah, so in a particular order, I'd probably say Dear Evan Hansen's my 1, Wicked 2, Beetlejuice 3.
Fair enough.
I'm a Dear Evan Hansen fan.
Solid shows.
Hate
Classic ones.
We were talking about how some people don't like Dear Evan Hansen earlier because it's like glorifying a liar. And I was like, that's just silly. I think it's silly.
A lot of movies do that too, and nobody complains about
Yeah,
those.
exactly.
But, well, in theater camp, what's her face? She was a liar. She was lying the whole time.
Rebecca Diane. He watched it with me, so he could give. You want to give us our little review on theater camp from you? What do you?
10.
Yeah, what do you rate it out of 10?
Oh, jeez, I don't know. Because it's complicated. Because it kind of gave me PTSD a little. I went to theater school.
Recovering.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
That's what we both gave it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8. Partly because it was very real in the sense of in the theater world, people, that is what it is like. Like all the kids, all the teachers, that is theater. Like that is what you will see if you are personally into theater and you're going into theater. But the reason I don't give it anything higher is just because I feel like the film itself couldn't decide whether it wanted to be a documentary or an actual, like, film.
Interesting.
Like, it started off very documentary-like, introducing people, having little subtext in the corner. And then by the end, it sort of, like, was just a regular movie.
Interesting. We were reading some reviews that said that they didn't like the mockumentary thing that they did, but we both agreed that we actually did like the mockumentary, so it's interesting that you felt.
I feel like it added more, like it made it self-aware, like, and I thought it made it funnier.
That's fair. I respect that. And I think you thought it was a lot funnier than I did because we were watching it and she was cackling.
Some of the jokes were like really good. Like, I don't know.
I agree. I'm with you there.
Maybe I was just tired, but I don't know. I thought it was funny. I mean, it was a comedy. It had some good moments, but yeah, you definitely thought it was. You definitely thought it was funnier than I did.
Maybe it's a very specific movie for very specific people, I think.
Maybe I was just too traumatized to laugh.
It's possible.
You either get it or you don't.
How many times do I say that in this podcast? You get it or you don't get it?
We said it a lot for Saltburn.
Anyways, do we have anything else to say? Because I'm kind of pretty much at my end. It's going to be a really short episode.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to do our outro with us?
Oh, shoot.
This is a test to see if he actually watches our podcast.
All the way through?
I watched them all the way through.
I thought I was just in a
See you next Tuesday! How close am I? Am I far off?
Well, first, I guess we should do has your rating changed? But you just did your rating, so yours couldn't change. Did yours change at all?
Sticking with solid 8.
I think I'm sticking with my 8 too. It's a simple movie. There's not a lot of depth, but it's good.
Yeah. It's a feel good.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with my 8 too.
Low stakes.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so much for tuning in. You can find our podcast on YouTube at Flicks and Giggles Podcast. You can also find us on Apple Music, Spotify, or any other streaming platform.
You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok under the same name at Flicks and Giggles Podcast. If you have any favorite musicals, comment down below. If you've seen Theater Camp, tell us what you thought of it. Or if you've been a theater kid, tell us your experience.
Yeah, make it like a little theater kid AA in the comments.
We're here for you.
We're here for you.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in.
We'll see you next Tuesday.